Let's be real, most of y'all had at least one teacher in your life who's straight up useless, boring, no passion, just collecting a paycheck and counting the days till retirement. But then there's those rare ones, those ones who hit different, the ones who break the rules, push the limits, and actually give a damn. Enter great teacher Onizuka, the wildest, the most reckless, and oddly effective teacher anime has ever given us. Ever wonder why some teachers can actually change lives while others just background noise? It's not about textbooks or test scores, it's about influence, about knowing how to reach people on the level they don't even realize they need. And Onizuka, that man was a walking masterclass in connecting with the lost, the broken, and the downright rebellious. If you ever felt like the world wrote you off, like nobody gave a damn whether you succeeded or failed, this episode is for you, because I'm about to show you how Onizuka's 6 lessons in teaching and influence aren't just for the classroom, they're for anybody who wants to lead, inspire, and actually make an impact. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you will see why playing by the rules isn't always the way to win. Hey there, I'm Michael Yearby with over 2 decades of performing maintenance operations in the United States Air Force. I have a master's degree in organizational management, and I'm a master sergeant in the United States Air Force as well. And I spent over 23 years learning exactly what moves people to greatness. Listen, I know you're tired of the motivational cliches. Hell, I am too. But what if the real secret to finally leveling up your life, getting your shit together, commanding respect, and actually making an impact has been hidden in your favorite anime this whole time? My job isn't just talking. I'm here to share real wisdom through anime storytelling. Powerful stories, hard truths, lessons on teamwork, leadership, resilience, and personal growth that you can actually use to change your damn life. So buckle up, because I can guarantee you will never look at anime or your own potential the same way again. And if you feel like this already, make sure to hit the subscribe, like, and share button, and let's build some momentum together. Today we're diving into a simple but powerful truth. Real influence doesn't come from authority, it comes from connection. And nobody embodies that more than great teacher Onizuka. You think respect is about forcing people to listen? Nah, it's about making them want to listen. And Onizuka, that man took a bunch of rebellious, broken students and made them believe in something bigger than themselves, all while pulling off some of the wildest, most ridiculous stunts in anime history. You might be shocked at how his no BS approach to teaching holds some of the most valuable lessons in leadership, influence, and real human connection. Get ready, because by the end of this episode, you'll see why rule breaking, empathy, and humor might just be the keys to becoming the kind of leader that people actually respect. Let's jump in right now. Point 1, influence comes from authenticity, not authority. Let's get one thing straight. Nobody respects a fake ass leader. And if you ever had a boss, a teacher, or someone called mentor who taught a big game but had zero real life experience, someone who expected respect just because of their title, yeah, that's exactly the kind of clown energy that makes people tune out. But Onizuka, that man never pretended to be something he wasn't. He didn't try to fit the mold of a traditional teacher. Instead, he kept it real, unapologetically. He showed up in his ripped jeans, did reckless stunts, and didn't give a damn about how other teachers judged him. But you know what? His students listen. Why? Because authenticity is a magnet. When people sense that you're being real, that you're not fronting or you're trying to be perfect, they trust you. And trust, that's the foundation of real influence. And if you want to be someone who actually impacts people, whether in leadership, teaching, or just life in general, you gotta stop faking perfection and start being real. Own your flaws, speak from experience, and never expect respect just because of your damn title. You earn that by showing up as a raw, unfiltered self. And speaking of keeping it real, Onizuka's next move is something most so-called leaders are too scared to do. He doesn't just talk the talk, he walks straight into the fire with the students. Point 2, real leaders get in the trenches. You ever met a so-called leader who gives orders from the sideline but never actually gets their hands dirty? The type who loves to tell people what to do but wouldn't survive a single day in the mess themselves? Yeah, those people are a joke. And guess what? Nobody follows a leader like that. Onizuka, on the other hand, that man was in the trenches every damn time. His students wasn't just kids to him. They were people with real problems, real struggles. And when they needed help, he didn't just throw empty words at them. He showed up. He put himself on the line, whether it was jumping off a building to prove a point or literally taking a beating to protect the student. That's what real leadership looks like. It's easy to sit back and give advice, but are you willing to go through the fire with the people you claim to lead? Because if you're not, you don't deserve their respect, period. And if you think being in the trenches is enough, think again, because Onizuka wasn't just there for his students. He knew exactly how to break through to them whenever and when nobody else could. Point 3, humor and chaos are underrated leadership tools. Most people think that leadership, teaching, or influence is all about being serious, strict, and controlled. But that's where they screw up. You ever notice how the people you actually remember in life, the ones who made a real impact, were not robotic, rule-following types? They were the wild cards, the ones who made you laugh, who kept you on your toes, who brought chaos into the mix. That's exactly why Onizuka was able to break through to the students who had shut out every other authority figure before him. He knew that sometimes humor is the only way past someone's defenses. He used jokes, pranks, and outrageous stunts to cut through the emotional walls his students had built. And once he had them laughing, he had them listening. Think about it. When was the last time a boring, rigid, by-the-book leader actually inspired you? Probably never. But the people who mix humor, unpredictability, and genuine care, those are the ones who stayed with you forever. If you want to lead, teach, or inspire, you better learn how to make people laugh while making them think, because nobody else listens to someone who bores them to death. Trust me. But let's be real. Humor alone isn't enough. You have to want to really change lives. You got to understand how to reach people where they are at, not where you think they should be. And that goes to point 4. Meet people where they are, not where you want them to be. Here's where most teachers, leaders, and so-called mentors fail. They expect people to come to them. They sit back, drop some knowledge, and then get frustrated when nobody listens. That's not how influence works. If you want to reach someone, you gotta get to their level first. That's actually what Onizuka did. He didn't demand his students suddenly to start acting like model citizens overnight. He understood that you don't fix broken people by pretending they're already whole. Instead, he stepped into their world. He talked like them, he laughed like them, understood their struggles, and showed them that there's another way. That's what makes the difference between a leader and a dictator. Leaders earn trust before they try to change lives. You want people to grow. Stop expecting them to meet your standards from day one. Meet them where they are. Show them you actually understand, and then pull them up to something better. And here's the kicker. Understanding people is just one piece of the puzzle. If you really want to shake someone out of their self-destruction, you got to be willing to push them past their own excuses. And that leads me to point 5, pushing people past their own bullshit. You ever met someone who's drowning in excuses? Every time you try to push them towards something better, they hit you with, yeah, but, or some weak ass excuse about why they can't change. Onizuka didn't play that game. He saw right through people's self-pity and straight up called them out on their nonsense. He wasn't about cuddling or codding or let his students stay in the comfort zone. He forced them to face the hard truth about themselves. And yeah, sometimes that meant pissing them off. But here's the thing, growth ain't comfortable. Sometimes you need someone to shake you up, to push you past your own limits, to make you so mad that you actually do something about the situation. That's what real influence looks like. Not hand-holding, not sugarcoating, but pushing people so hard they have no choice but to level up. If you got people in your life who keeps making some dumbass mistakes, stop being nice about it. Tell them the truth. Push them. Because sometimes the biggest sign of love is refusing to let someone stay stuck in their own mess. But here's the thing, pushing people is only half the battle. If you gotta challenge them to grow, you better damn well be ready to stick by them while shit gets real. That brings me to point 6. Real leaders don't abandon people when it gets hard. Have you ever had someone hype you up, tell you they believe in you, then the second things get rough, they're nowhere to be found? That's some weak, fake ass leadership, and people remember that shit. Onizuka, that man never walked away. No matter how bad things got, his students weren't just a job to him, they were his responsibility. He didn't just talk big about helping them, he showed up when it matters most. When a student was on the edge of self-destruction, he was there. When they lashed out, he took the hits. When they failed, he didn't let them stay down. That's what real leaders do. They stick with people even when they're messy, even when it's difficult, even when it would be easier to walk away. If you want to make real impact, you don't just get to quit on people because it's inconvenient for you. If you say you care, prove it, not just when it's easy, but when it's hard as hell. And that's the final piece, because at the end of the day, leadership, teaching, and influence aren't about control. They're about building people up so they don't need you anymore. At the end of the day, great teacher Onizuka wasn't just a teacher, he was the blueprint for what real leadership looks like. He proved that authenticity beats authority every time, and that you earn respect by showing up as your real, flawed, unfiltered self. He didn't just give orders, he got into the trenches with the people who he was leading. He knew that humor and chaos wasn't distractions. They were tools to break down walls, to reach people who had shut the world out. He understood that if you want to help someone, you meet them where they are, not where you think they should be. And when people start making excuses for their failures, he didn't let them hide behind their own bullshit. He pushed them hard. But most importantly, he never abandoned people when things got tough. He stayed. He fought for them, even when they couldn't fight for themselves. That's what real influence looks like. And if you take nothing else from this episode, take this. If you want to change lives, you got to be willing to do the hard, messy, uncomfortable work of actually giving a damn. And if that hit home for you, then it's time to stop waiting for someone like Onizuka to show up in your life, and it's time to be that person for someone else. Look, too many people are out here waiting for some perfect moment, some perfect leader, some perfect plan to show up and fix their lives. But let me tell you something, nobody's coming to save you. You want to be great? You want to be a leader? Then become the damn person you need when you were struggling. Stop playing small, stop making excuses, step the hell up. Onizuka didn't wait for permission to make an impact. He broke every damn rule in the book because he knew people needed something real, something different. And that's exactly what this world needs now. People who actually give a damn. People who are willing to push and to fight and to show up no matter how hard it gets. So here's the challenge. Who are you gonna be? The weak ass leader who hides behind authority, or the one who gets in the trenches and actually changes lives? If you're ready to be that person, then start today. No more waiting, no more second guessing, but then be the Onizuka in someone's life. And if you feel this message, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe so we can build this movement together, because this isn't just a podcast. This is a call to action. Peace, y'all.